On today's episode of Action Figure Fridays, we're going to be taking a look at the G.I. Joe Classified Series Pythona. Kicking it off with accessories, we get two head sculpt, this one having a more neutral expression, and the second being more expressive. A cool little detail with this one is that she does have that acid/venom dripping from her fangs. Speaking of heads, we do get two ponytails, this one being longer and more kind of messy, flowy type, and this one being much shorter at shoulder length. Now, one thing to note is that both ponytails are interchangeable with both heads, so you get options. We get a pair of fists, both with a hinge on the side of the wrist, and a pair of weapon holding hands also with hinges on the sides of the wrist. We get a left hand with this molded smoke effect coming out from the top of the hand. This hand has a hinge in the middle of the wrist, and a right hand with that poison/acid coming out from her claws. This one has a hinge in the middle of the wrist. We get a little clam with two tongues, or well, strings or grapple, whatever, coming out of its mouth. This is what she used in the movie to tie up a couple of troopers. However, she can't really hold it. I am more so balancing it on her weapon holding hands. We get this octopus, spider, turtle looking thing right here. She can't hold it in her hands. It's more so an extra pet. However, I think this is what she uses in the animated movie to spray this type of gas on the Crimson Guard. I don't 100% remember. It's been a minute. We get a clam of sorts. I can't get her to hold this either. This reminds me more of where Cobra Commander is trapped in. However, it's obviously too small to fit Cobra Commander in there, so if you remember where this is from, let me know. They are doing construction in my street, and I hope that does not come across in the video. Anyway, here is the giant pink gem that she offers the Dreadnoks as payment. We get a knockoff face hugger looking thing. This does have ball joints in the little tentacles, so you can rotate them, moving inwards and outwards a bit on both sides. The one at the bottom does not move. If you remember where this is from, please let me know. It's been a while since I've watched the movie. She comes with an eel accessory that can be wrapped around either arm like so. All the four eels have their little eyes painted in there, and the ones that have their open mouth have teeth and a little tongue painted in there, which is pretty cool. And we get a pair of chakrams. I think that's what those weapons are called. They have this nice green snake handle in the middle, and then the blade is out of this pink translucent plastic. And last, we get her cape, and this is iconic because that's how she first appears in the movie. Now, this cape is made out of soft goods, which is awesome, but there is no wiring in this. In the outside side of the cape, to sound redundant, there is this snake/reptile skin texture to it, reminiscent of the exclusive Serpentor. I think he also had that going on in his cape, which is pretty cool. You can put the hood up, and you can also lay the hood down if you choose to, which of course gives you options, which is always a good thing. For articulation, starting out with the head, both ponytails are on a peg that allows them to swivel and get out the way. There is a double ball peg going to the head and the neck, and then a ball peg from the chest to the neck, all together moving the ponytail out the way, allowing you to look up that far and then down that far, not so much. You get a little bit of tilt from side to side, and then of course you get rotation. Looking at the shoulder articulation, we get a butterfly joint that allows you to go back more than it does forward. There is that peg at the shoulder allowing you to rotate the arm, a hinge that allows you to bring the arm out a pretty good amount, I would say. We get a bicep swivel, and then we get double jointed elbows that allow you to bring the arm all the way in, and we already covered the hands. For the torso, we get a ball peg at the bottom waist abdomen area, and then a ball peg at the top chest area, allowing you to go back that far, forward that far. You obviously get rotation, and then you also get tilt out of that. For the legs, we get your hinge right here at the crotch area, which allows you to bring the hip down and up. There is ball joints right here at the hips, allowing you to bring the leg out and back, and then sideways, right? Neutral pose. We get a thigh swivel. I did have to heat up mine, so just beware of that. We do have double jointed knees that go almost all the way back, right? Nothing at the shin, no boot swivel, none of that useless stuff. I will die on that hill. That joint is useless. And then we have a peg and hinge combo for the feet, allowing you to bring them down, up, and of course, rotate. Yes, the figure does have toes sculpted in. No, I will not be giving you a close-up. This channel is for adults, not a bunch of weirdos. So if that's what you're into, go elsewhere. Now for size comparisons, on the left we got the exclusive Dr. Mindbender, and then on the right we got the exclusive Once a Man Cobra Commander. Keeping the theme going, on the left we have the exclusive Nemesis Enforcer, Nemesis Immortal, whatever you want to call him, and then on the right the exclusive Serpentor. And last but not least, on the right we got the Cobra Valkyrie, and then on the left we have a Valaverse Gemini. Final thoughts. Love it or hate it, here is my opinion. This figure is pretty awesome. I think the sculpting done through the entire body is insane. There's even sculpting done on her cape, which is pretty cool. And even though the cape does not have a bendy wire, it is still very, very easy to work with, as you can see right here, which I really enjoy. The paint or the purple wash done on her skin suit is done very well, and it makes all of that detail and sculpting stand out. I really, really enjoy it. The articulation is very standard for G.I. Joe classified quote-unquote standards, so we've come to expect that, with primarily my disappointments being more so the hands and the choices made there. For starters, hinges on the side of the wrists for fists is almost as criminal as upcharging for figures nowadays and then blaming it on tariffs. It doesn't make sense. You get a much more fluent range of motion in articulation when the hinge is on the middle of the wrist for a fist instead of the side of the wrist. They did the same thing with Nemesis Enforcer, which didn't make any sense, and I pointed that out in that review. I don't know why they would choose to do the same thing here. Now, she is loaded with a bunch of accessories, but unfortunately she can't really hold or use the majority of them, and they're just kind of included in there more so as extra pets or homages to the movie, but not real accessories that, again, she can use. And I think maybe the addition of a pair of open hands would have helped alleviate this issue, because I don't think that I'm missing something, or feel free to correct me in the comments, but I can't figure out a way for her to hold specific things in a way that actually looks natural. So to wrap it up, at the end of the day, this is a pretty awesome figure, and I think Hasbro has been doing a great job with all of the Cobra-La releases. However, they keep missing or making some very weird decisions that stop these particular figures from basically being a 10 out of 10. Weird decisions that, you know, when we have price hikes, you kind of expect more, and these decisions have nothing to do with the price hikes either. Like I said, putting hinges in the wrong place has nothing to do with tariffs, has nothing to do with budgeting and all that stuff. The budget's already there, just do it right. And that's really what I am asking for when it comes to the classified series, is all of these dumb little decisions keep hurting their figures, and I just don't understand why we keep doing that. Anyway, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope to see you all next Friday, and this brings us to the end of another Action Figure Friday. Peace.